Hello, welcome to Sincerely Elvis Presley. I'm Sean. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. A few weeks ago, we took a look at some photo records of Elvis in 1956 by particular photographers. We had Marvin Israel and we had Philip Harrington. And I said at the time, there's one photographer of Elvis in 1956, but of Elvis in general, that deserves an episode of his own, and I'm talking about the legendary Alfred Wertheimer. This particular episode I did film, I did have ready, and then I had a disaster. So I think that version, whatever this turns out to be, that version was probably better than this version because I'd done a lot of research and I kind of knew what I was talking about. This time it's all gone. I've forgotten it all. But I'm just going to wing it. I remember the first version I recorded, these books were incredibly difficult to hold up to camera, so they're not going to be any easier this time. But if you're the sort of person that likes to play a little game when you're sitting there watching your tablet, your phone, your TV, or whatever you're watching this on, then we'll play a little sort of bingo. Now, whatever it might be, if you want to take a drink, if you don't drink, take a chocolate, take a crisp, whatever it is. But I'm going to be mentioning atmospheric. I'm going to be mentioning iconic. I'm going to be mentioning lots and lots of words over and over again, because that is how you react when you see Alfred Wertheimer's work. It really is absolutely stunning. Now, who was Alfred Wertheimer? Well, he was born in 1929 and his family fled from Germany to the US in 1936. He set himself up working as a freelance photographer, and he did a lot of work for the RCA publicity department, filming people like Perry Como and that sort of celebrity. In March 1956, he was contacted by RCA publicist Anne Fulcino. See, I knew this was going to be difficult. That's the thing, you know, anyone that's ever researched something and talked about it, when you try and revisit it again, it's almost like you can't, or I certainly find I can't hold it in anymore. So I have got notes here that I'm trying to refer to, but yeah, bear with me. Anyway, he was contacted by Al Fulcino to shoot Elvis on his fourth appearance on the Dorsey Brothers stage show. He then went on to film Elvis in a number of situations. June the 30th, concert at Richmond. He filmed him on the he photographed him on the Steve Allen show. He photographed a recording session for RCA. Then he photographed him at home in Memphis with his family at Audubon Drive, I believe. And, you know, we talked before about how 1956 was really the last time that people would be given such incredible amount of access to Elvis, just to be able to snap away at their heart's content and spend a lot of time around him. And no one did it quite like Alfred Wertheimer. His photography has appeared on album covers, it's been in books, it's been on singles, it's been in the National Portrait Gallery, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He is the very epitome of iconic in terms of photographers. The images he took, you know, you think of a famous image of Elvis in 1956, and the chances are that was taken by Alfred Wertheimer. There's a very high possibility because the things that he took were so amazing. Now, he's no longer with us. He passed in 2014. But in 1979, he issued a book of his own called Elvis 56 in the Beginning. And it was revolutionary at the time. You know, to see Elvis in those kind of environments and a swathe of photographs in one book was something really, really special for anyone that sort of picked it up and had never seen anything quite like that presented in that way before. That book has been republished in all sorts of different guises, slightly different titles over the years. But what I want to look at here are two of, I think, the best ways to see Alfred Wertheimer's photography. And the first one is this fabulous, fabulous book. Now, this is Elvis and the Birth of Rock and Roll. And as you can see, this is a massive book. This is a weighty old volume. This is, I've struggled before to show things like the Elvis files and, some of the FTD heavyweight books. But this one is in a league of its own. There is a bigger Elvis book than this, and I'll get around to showing that one of these days. But this is just... this is a monster. Now, this was published in 2015 by Taschen. It was published a couple of years ago. It was reissued, and you can get it today. It's got a different cover to this, but you can get it today if you don't have this in your collection on Amazon. It should retail at about £50, and I think they've got it for about £38.95, which, when you consider what you're getting for your money, I think that's the bargain of the century. This is an incredible book. This one I was really lucky with. When I decided to, start collecting again a couple of years ago, I think I'll go back probably about 3 or 4 years, I saw this on Amazon through an Amazon marketplace seller. It was actually Momox in Germany, who are usually pretty good. But with this, the price was £11. There was no shipping on top of that, and it said like new condition. Now, knowing what it was and the size of it, I did think to myself, £11? Oh, I'll take a punt. Expecting it to probably come in less than perfect condition, but it arrived and it was in fantastic shape. So, there's just an example of Alfred Wertheimer's photography. How many times have we seen that? It's been on book covers. I think it was on the UK edition of Being Elvis, A Lonely Life by Ray Conley. It's been, RCA have used it numerous times on releases as well. And, that's one photograph. It's the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to show you as much as I can hold up of this, but it's not an easy task. But the reason I think these are the best ways to see Alfred Wertheimer's photography is just the scale you get of it, just the sheer size of it. Now, this is in this version, because it's a Taschen, it's in 3 languages. So there's a lot of text, but actually it's in German, it's in French, and it's also in English. So it's kind of multi-purposeful for multi-territories. But the photography itself is very ka-ching, atmospheric and iconic. The irony is, I thought I'd say that at the beginning, because last time I think I must have said it about 20 times. And you watch this time, I probably won't say it at all, and you'll be thinking, didn't get many drinks or chocolates out of that one, Sean. Yeah, I do like to disappoint. But look at that. Elvis Studio. How atmospheric is that? But you know what I mean? I mean, the thing is, if a picture tells 1,000 stories. Look, Scott is playing. You've got Elvis kind of contemplating. It's just... I mean, there's something about the black and white photography that gives it that extra sense of, I'm going to say it again, atmosphere. But even so, they're just glorious. Look at it. And that's the kind of thing, this idea that this was the last time that anyone would capture over this way, just so at ease, and so, in this mad year when everything's taking off for him, and just this look. I mean, beautiful. I'm not going to attempt to show every page. I'm just going to flick through. And this was the last time. So the last time Wertheimer photographed Elvis was September 58, when he was leaving for Germany, I think. But the bulk of his photography took place in '56. There's the one that I used in the thumbnail. I mean, how cool. And this access to him, like in his bathroom getting ready. Just mind-blowing, really. And there's something about the way that they are candid, that captures these moments of intimacy, these times of Elvis looking pensive or just communicating with, or just looking really, really happy, that I think make these extra special. And there are the odd pages within this that open out, so you get in even bigger. Oops, let's get a bit of glare now. Let's put that over there. Oh, now I think we've got one here. What have we got here? There you go, look, and then you get this like triple effect. The only problem with the pages that open out is you've got to be careful putting them back in, because otherwise they just crease as you shut the book together. I apologise, I'll try and defeat some of the glare, but I've had to have all the lights on today because it's a very, very grey weekend here indeed. So just look at him, just being able to be on the streets doing normal things that a normal person would do, not being, you know, feel that he's not able to because he'd just been mobbed. And there were certainly elements of that starting, but he could do things with a lot more ease than he'd soon be able to. These are just amazing, aren't they? Absolutely amazing. This is a fabulous book. If you've got 56 in the beginning, and maybe you've thought to yourself, well, I've got a book full of Wertheimer photographs. That's that on the close-up box set, I think, on the cover. Yeah, if you've got 56 and you think, well, I don't really need more Wertheimer, well, I'd say go for one of these big ones, because they do it with such a sense of panache and style that nothing really comes close. There's another famous, as I said, you know, I'm sure you're well aware, but they're just so iconic, that, you know, they're everywhere. If you, let's face it, if you're gonna, and calendars, let's not forget, there was lots of Wertheimer calendars produced over the years. But if you're gonna produce an Elvis release, and it's an Elvis release from '56, you're gonna lean towards some of these, aren't you? Because they're just so good. They are just so good. Is that? I'm not sure if he's. There's one where he's in a diner, I think. I don't know if that's the one. The melee of the crowds. Like, although they don't look. What are we here? No, he is. What's he doing here? It's not one of his crowds, is it? They look a little bit older than you'd expect, the typical Elvis crowd. So I think he's actually just bought himself lunch, I think, by the look of it. He's got his bag there. Okay, what else have we got? Just look at that. Utterly brilliant. Utterly brilliant. Utterly atmospheric. I'm going to stop now. I'm doing it deliberately. Right. See what I mean about that? Being able to capture those pensive moments, those sort of off-guard moments, because of the access. As you can see, there were the odd colour photographs. I think a couple of it might be the Steve Allen show. There's a couple of photographs that are in colour, because you can see the green of his jacket. Which one of those was the sleeve of the reissue of this particular book. But, you know, Elvis at home, briefly there, as we turn. Glorious, utterly glorious. Utterly glorious, utterly impossible to try and hold up on a camera. It really is. You know, I kind of envy these guys on YouTube that that have a top-down setup that you can just sort of see. And I could actually use the tablet I've got and do it that way, but why make life easy on yourself? Right, Elvis and the birth of rock and roll. There it is right at the start, and this is an utterly brilliant book. So if you don't have this, and you either want to get this original form or the reissue one, which I think has got exactly the same title, and I think it's probably just as big as this one as well, then you will not regret it. This is as good as it gets in terms of Elvis and 56 photography. Well, I say good as it gets. This one's just as good. This one does a very similar job. In fact, what I might do is I might stick out multicoloured one there and use it as a bit of a stand, see if that helps. So, again, Alfred Wertheimer, Elvis at 21, New York to Memphis. This does a very similar job to the other one, and this has been reissued as well. This came out not all that long after this original, but this time it was called Elvis, A King in the Making, and I think it was slightly smaller in dimension, but it wasn't a small book by any means. But what I'll try and do is I'm going to try and take off the old dust jacket of this, because that's going to hamper proceedings somewhat. So, what's this one? Don't think there's a lot of detail there. But this one does it, I don't want to say classier, because that suggests that the other one wasn't classy, but this one does it all very tasteful, sort of silver, black and white with its pages. You'll see what I mean. And it lays it all out. The other one did have some order to it, but it did flip backwards and forwards from the various dates that Wertheimer photographed Elvis. This one tends to lump them together and take them in order. So we start with another super iconic shot. Oh yes, another iconic. Now, how on earth am I going to hold this up? Right, I'm going to need to do that again, and you're going to get a bit of glare on that page, unfortunately, but I don't think there's a tremendous amount I can do to combat that, unfortunately. So, there you see, it's laid out. We get Stage Show Studio 50, Steve Allen Show Rehearsals, Mosque Theatre Richmond, Virginia, Hudson Theatre New York City, so you get 2 live shows, Recording Session Studio 1, then the journey on the train from New York to Memphis, Elvis at Home, and then the final bit of this one is Russwood Park Memphis Show, the famous show that was appropriated in Baz Luhrmann's film to Elvis singing Trouble, which a lot of people took offence at because it hadn't been recorded by that stage, but I was fine with it. It's for dramatic effect. But anyway, so it looks as though this one doesn't have that final set of photographs when he photographed him in 58 when he was in the army, but we will do our best to give you, let's see if I can, see, that's the thing, a forward by Peter Guralnick, this one, and an introduction by Chris Murray. There's so much glare. There is so much glare. How can I defeat the glare? I don't think I can, because if I have the lights on, we'll be in darkness. So I apologise if that's not coming through as good as it should do. I wonder if it's because I've propped it up on that. I wonder if that's taking it nearer to the light. Let's see. Not really much better, is it? Let's see if I can get it right. Let's get it there. We're going to miss the bottom because I can't lift it up, but we'll get a flavour for what this book is and what it offers. It does sort of take the leaf out of the other ones. Take a leaf out there, but and you do get some pull-out pages that make it, you know, the images even bigger. I think the problem with that one, with the, see, look at that. Look how good that is. Look how atmospheric that is. And it's iconic. Are you keeping a tally of this? I'm going to stop. Yeah, look, you've got fold-out pages, but I think I got this one used, and they have been sort of creased over a little bit, which is unfortunate. But you know, you get the idea. That there you go. And those bathroom shots again. Just getting himself ready, having a bit of a shave and sorting his DA and pompadour out. Trouble with doing it this way, I can't get my hand. Nope. Still getting ready. There's the is that the actual shot? I think it is, that was used on Guralnick's last train to Memphis, so that's probably why they persuaded him to do an introduction to this volume. Just awesome, absolutely awesome. And of course that sort of segment of Elvis at the piano before the Steve Allen show is kind of portrayed in the Baz Luhrmann movie as well. I think, if I remember rightly, this one isn't in multilingual text. The classic, absolute classic, that's appeared on releases as well. So I think this one is just in English text. But, utterly fantastic. See, that's what they should do really. If they're going to put the pages fold in, they should make them fall up a little bit short of the crease so that you wouldn't end up folding them. But hey ho. So yeah, I think, as I said, this one, I believe it's out of print now in both its versions, in this version and The King in the Making. So you may well be restricted to the used market to get yourself a copy if you haven't one. But you know, it's a toss-up really for me. Oh yeah, is this the famous The Kiss photograph? Are we going to see that or not? And that itself has been used on releases as well. It's not there, or is it? There it is. Put it on the fold out, look. Fantastic. So, yeah, can I recommend one of these above the other? Not really, not really. Yeah, sure. If you get them both, you are going to be duplicating quite a lot of the pictures that you see, but you know, there's something about them. There's something about them that's so good that I'd recommend either or both. I obviously went for both because, you know, there's certain things relating to Elvis that I always think it doesn't matter if you have duplicates because they are that good. You will find the odd one in each of them that's not in the other, but in the main, it's fair to say that they are pretty much doing the same thing, but they both do it so well that yeah, you can't go wrong really. The only thing you can go wrong is sitting there like a fool trying to desperately open the pages on camera, because it's virtually impossible. It makes me even long for some of the books I've complained about being heavy before, because they're a lot easier to handle than this. But look, I believe that's the Elvis 56 cover. As I say, you know, they've appeared so much on so many different releases. I think one of these, or very close to them, may have been on the MRS Complete 1956 Recordings box set. But I think it was colourised actually on that, which I'm pretty sure that Wertheimer's originals weren't in colour. If I'm wrong there, let me know in the comments, but I don't think, there's not many Wertheimers in colour. And I don't think it was from that session. Because when you think about it, he's doing the whole thing in black and white. So is he gonna have another colour film set up? Probably not, I'd say. So Elvis on his way from New York to Memphis, at the station. Ready to board the train. Actually, in that other one, is that where he... No. I was going to say, is that where he was buying his lunch? But I don't think it is. And then listening to some acetates on the train. These are very famous photographs as well. Just capturing him. Just look at him, just pensively thinking away to himself. A moment of calm in the storm, in the whirlwind that was 1956. Someone's obviously spotted him and given him a big bear. So he didn't stay in the calm for long, did he, by the look of it? What have you got? Here's his carriage. Is that Gene Smith? Can't see from this angle. Could well be. But again, look, that unguarded, that genuine, happy guy with everything going right, with the world sort of falling at his feet, and yeah, that's what makes these so special. Just a moment in time that was never really captured again. Now there you go. There's talking of used on covers. I believe that was on the UK edition of Down at the End of Lonely Street, the book by Pat Bulloesque and Peter Brown. Yeah. So yeah, plenty of people have made use of these particular sets of photographs. I think that's the one that's on the cover of the reissue of this, A King in the Making. But there we are, Audubon Drive. And some Vernon. In the pool. Again, really famous photographs. Glorious stuff. Utterly glorious. Back in the house. Oh, this really is a bit of a challenge. Great photography. There's some really nice photographs of Elvis and Gladys in this, but I'm not quite sure. It's virtually impossible to see upside down, so I don't think we're going to get there. Then we move to Rushwood Park, and these amazing photographs taken from the back, showing Elvis and the crowd, and then showing the crowd, and there he is, look. Just incredible. Worth that absolute weight in gold, these. What brilliant images. But I've got to be honest, I hope I never have to hold a book like that up on camera again, because that's crazy. You know, definitely people that have got a top-down setup would be able to do a much better job than I have on that. Let's just see if I can find some of those photographs of Elvis and Gladys. That's a great one with Vernon, look. But let's see, where are we? There we go, look. Absolutely brilliant. Utterly fantastic, utterly brilliant. So, what do you think? Alfred Wertheimer. Do you have the original Elvis 56 that came out in 79, or the versions of that? Have you got one of these huge beasties? Or if you don't, is it something that now you've seen them, you thought, well, I wouldn't mind adding those to collection? You'll be able to give yourself a good old workout as well, just holding them up. I mean, let's face it, they're not bedtime reading, not unless you've got some kind of system to hold them up to read, I don't know. But yeah, they're as good as it gets, Elvis in 56. The Marvin Israel, the Philip Harrington are fantastic, but there's something about the way Wertheimer framed his shots. There's something about the way he went about documenting those moments in Elvis's life that they're stunning. There's nothing that even comes close, I don't think. But let me know what you think in the comments. You know, do you love those photographs as much as I do? Do you have a particular favourite? Do they appear somewhere else that you thought, whoa, he's forgot about that because that was there? Anything in the comments, as ever. You know, I love to read your comments. Thanks for watching. I hope it wasn't too traumatic. I hope you managed to see beyond the glare and my rather pitiful attempts to hold the books up. I hope if you were playing bingo, you got a nice score and got yourself some nice drinkies or chocolates or whatever. You know, sometimes I even wonder to myself where I'm going with these, but it's been one of those days. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you're able to join me for next week's video. But until then, have yourselves a great week. Take care, everybody. Ta-da.
We'll meet you again. May God bless you. Adios.